Hello, everybody. Before we start, I want to remind you that High School Story is very dead. In 2018, it had its last update, and since 2022, all the servers are down, and if you didn't already have this app on your device, you could no longer get it through traditional means. So, very, very dead. And we are app archaeologists here. I think it's okay to do what we're about to do for games like this that no artist is supporting themselves on anymore. But you shouldn't do this with modern games because you're hurting their livelihood potentially, and it's not the artistic vision of how they expected people to play their game. And with that, let's begin. So Shinixxx here on High School Story Fans has already made a guide for how to play High School Story to this day. You need an APK, just the file that Android apps use, and you need a way to play these files. And I use Bluestacks, and it seems to be the common thing people use. Both the guide and this are in the description. And since I already have High School Story, I'm going to show you how to do this with the Hollywood U app, because I think that we should be able to get the LUA files from this as well. Hollywood U doesn't work because you need the servers to be up in order to play it. But the files of the story are still going to be in the game, as well as all the images and sounds. So you can see I have the completed Hollywood U Rising Stars pack. I originally got the idea from the same creator who made that first post about how to still play. When people were talking about this level that you can no longer play on High School Story, were the ones who planted the idea in my head that we can still look at this code even if we can't actually open them in the game. But Spiritual AD759 was the first one to have this idea, as far as I know, because this post was also made on the High School Story Fans subreddit 2 years ago. This guide on the XDA forums, made by Little Joel Griffo, uh, gives us a guide for how to open our APK using Winrar, which has a 40-day trial to use it for free to open different applications. Not to open the application, but to look through all of the files within the application. Because right now you saw the file, it was a BlueStacks file, it was the APK. It wasn't a folder. And this application, WinRAR, allows you to look through and see all the assets in the code inside. And this is the agreement, which is also available on WinRAR's website. Basically, you can't share this, you can't share parts of the code and distribute it. You gotta respect their software. And this is basically just telling you, the license is not free. It lasts for 40 days. Let's go to where my downloads are, because that's where I have the here we go. No, that's Bluestacks installer. Here's Hollywood U. Oh, I didn't mean to double click it. That will open it in Bluestacks. What you want to do is open the view button. And so now all of the images and audio and LUA files, which is where the scripts are held, are going to be in assets, along with other things like the code for how to move things around, like the animations. People are walking around on patches of grass, and there's all the props and the files for the font and all of this sort of stuff. Basically, all the things like audio and visual are in here. Because the main job of Winrar is compression, you can't isolate the type of file, or at least I didn't find a way to. I'm going to extract the entire thing, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it well, you know what? We'll find it at some point. Yeah. Here is my folder with all of the assets of Hollywood U. You can see there are PNG files. There might also be some JPEGs that just show. This is a bad example. You can't see it too well. I guess that's just a smile. Um, but you can see image files. There's the audio files. And what we're going to look for are the LUA files. This is the same name as the name of the Bluestacks file, by the way. So again, .lua, show all, and it selects all of them. And I'm going to go ahead and move that to Hollywood U transcripts. And this has a lot less files than High School Story. High School Story had, I believe, 627 files, and this just has 290. If we click on just any random one, it's a Lua file, but you can open this in anything that can read words. Open with Notepad. And it's, yeah, here it is. This is the text of one of the quests. The last thing I want to show you guys is how to understand the code. So here we have SavageLordBarlow's High School Story blooper reel, which is the special quest that Quinn has after you purchase her. And it's one that I have not been able to play in Bluestacks. It just doesn't come up after I purchase Quinn. And so the way that I've been making transcripts is I'm just finding and replacing the command for a file. Find and replace is this Control H. So if I wanted to replace this, which is Quinn speaking, with Quinn, it's just Control H, replace, QUINN, colon, and it replaces all like that. So all of this phrase has been replaced with just Quinn, colon, space. The way that I know what these mean, you can just compare and contrast what is happening. So here, I'm Julian. I love chasing a ball around the field for no apparent reason. I'm Julian. And you can see all of this is in italics. So we know that the little tilde on either side makes it italics. And we know that Nishin is talking. This is also how you can figure out what these little numbers seem to mean different emotes that they have. They have their little animations. Like here, I believe that this is 1. Here, the hands on the hips, the grumpy, that was the 3. I've started to make this little decoding document. So anytime it says this or this, it's the main character's name. These are like the special names, and then otherwise they have this little code, and then they put the character's name in bold. I haven't actually come across 6 yet in my transcribing. I'm assuming that's the one where, they hold up their hands and a little heart comes out of their eyes. Here is an example of a choice. So when you see local choice, you know a choice is about to happen. And the reason it's a local choice is most of the choices in this game, they're only going to affect what happens like immediately after within the quest that you're doing. So, you know, something that you say to Mia when she's talking about her debutante ball isn't really going to affect anything when you are helping the first club member come in and start all of the robotics club and the and the different kinds of artist clubs and all that. The choices are only relevant and the game is only keeping track of them for a very short time within the quest that you're doing. The thing in the first quotation marks is what would be in the big red text, and then you would have whatever's in the second quotation marks, and then after this like vertical bar, you would have the next choice. And you can, this might repeat for however many choices there are. It would just continue like that with like another bar, and then quote, and then whatever choice. And then it would end the way that you could see it here. And so choice 0 is actually the first choice on here. So that's something that can be a bit confusing, but it's actually pretty common in coding languages to have your first number be 0 and not 1. And then it continues to choice 2, choice 3, choice 4. But in this case, there's just two choices. So they just have, if you click the first one, or else. If you were to click the second one, that would be else. If this were a timed choice, then running out of time would also bring you to else. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful, um, and that you can play all of the quests that got buried, and we can recover this lost media together. Have a wonderful day.